The other day, I was realizing all at the same time that we needed groceries. It was while I was folding laundry. After realizing that I still hadn't emailed somebody back, which reminded me that Emma needed a permission form signed, which made me remember that I still had to order birthday gifts for a party that was coming up. And guess what? None of those thoughts were urgent, but each and every single one of them interrupted what I was already working on. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jill. I am a time and energy management expert. On this podcast, Energy and Hours, we talk about how we can make our lives easier through time management and energy management tips. I often bring on guests. I also do solo episodes. Today is going to be a solo episode talking about the three different places that things can live within your world and how to organize them so you stop feeling so overwhelmed. It's really a conversation about mental load. And as women, and especially as moms and as leaders, we know a lot about the mental load, right? It's all the things that live in our head. And I think the problem that so many of us experience in terms of overwhelm and burnout is that we're using our brains in the wrong way. We're asking our brains to be the decision maker, the powerhouse, the headquarters, right? The brains of it. And we're asking our brains to be a storage unit and a calendar and a reminder system. It's not both. We need external supports to help us as we're moving through our days. Our brain is not meant to hold everything, and it goes and breaks as soon as we overload it. And so I want to offer you guys some tools today, ideas about how we could separate the different things that flow into our brains like unbidden, where we can put them, what belongs where, so that we're able to free up that mental load, lift that brain fog that happens when too much is like on our minds, and start to get some momentum back in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in your life or your business. The first thing that I really want you to hear is that your brain is not broken. I also have a very bad memory. And I'm running a business. I'm running many businesses actually, and I've got four kids, and I've got a spouse, and I've got responsibilities and other family members and trips and things that I want to do, hobbies of my own. I manage to get most of it done in a fairly decently organized fashion, not because I'm remembering it all. It's because I'm taking supports and systems and religiously sticking to them in order to support myself so that I don't have to remember everything and worry all the time that something's going to fall through the cracks. So if you're the one feeling like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, I can't remember everything, something is wrong with my brain, it's not. My brain's the same. All brains are the same, actually, in that regard. They are not meant to be a storage facility. They're a decision-making powerhouse. We store things elsewhere where it's safe, where it's not going to be forgotten, right? Where we know it lives and then we can go back to it. Okay. We shouldn't need to be keeping in our head everybody's information, right? The birthdays, the appointments, the medications, different school events, and what the grocery list has on it, and who likes what, and what everyone needs for next week's camp. That is not organization. That's memory management, right? Your brain actually has one important job. Your brain should be used, well, it's the decision-making center. But here's the things your brain can be used for: problem solving, making decisions, being creative, connecting ideas, and enjoying your life. For those in the back, you're supposed to enjoy your life. Life is supposed to be challenging. It's not supposed to be stressful. Okay, it's not supposed to be hard. I want to introduce you to this idea of the three different homes for all of the things that are currently living in your brain and taking up mental space. That's going to be the crux of this conversation today. The first place that things should go, the first home for things in your life, is your calendar. May I suggest a time magic planner? Any calendar will do. What's important is that you have somewhere to put the appointments, the activities, the meetings, anything in your life that has a date, whether it be a due date or you need to be somewhere at a particular time, something like that, that belongs in your calendar. Okay. The second place that things can belong, the second home for things in your life, is going to be your task list. Now, if you've ever heard me speak on stage somewhere or I've been in your organization, something like that, you probably have heard me talk about the difference between um, appointments and tasks, like meetings and tasks, right? I sort of use the analogy of meetings and appointments being the rocks in your schedule. You can't move them as easily. They're like these big boulders. And the tasks are like the Tetris pieces in your weekly planning. The tasks need to get done, but they don't need to be done on any particular date or time. So this is where the idea of eat your frogs comes in. You take your task list of the things that need to get done and you schedule them into your week or your month or your day. You schedule them in around what's already there that can't be moved. Okay? So that's your task list is all the things that don't have a date of when they need to be done, but they do need to be done. You can't forget about them. It's not your calendar. Okay. Appointments belong on a calendar. Anything with a due date belongs on a calendar. Anything that needs to get done without a due date belongs on a task list. This can look like a million different ways. I have clients that really like the idea of having one long list. Cool. Other clients of mine love the idea of having a pillared or siloed or bucketed system where each facet of their life or their business has its own list. And so it's a smaller list, right? I also encourage people, especially people who struggle with their energy, to have a high energy to-do list and a low energy to-do list, right? There's all different ways that we can go through and prioritizing this task list is a whole other conversation. You can find podcast episodes and Substacks and things that I've done about prioritization. It's truly a whole other ball of wax, as they say. Okay, so you've got your calendar. Things live there if they have a due date. You have your task list. Things live there if they need to be done, but they do not have a due date. The third place, the third home for things in your life is a note. It's a note. I use my notes app on my iPhone. I checked this morning. I have 72 notes going. Do you think there's any way humanly possible that I could remember all 72 things? Not only that, within each note isn't just like one thing. I have notes for let me tell you, this should be fun. Okay, I have notes for the glimmers that I've been noticing because I don't always have my planner on me to write them down. So, glimmers is something that I write down in my notes and then I transfer over to my planner. I have babysitter options, people I can call if I need a babysitter one night. I have things I want to do with my kids this summer. That's a really long list. Things I want to journal about, tattoos I want to get, things for my next book, how much my planner weighs when I send it out via Canada Post, things that my son gets a wow on his wow chart for, different toys and things that the kids could enjoy doing examples that I need to give next time I'm talking to the Ontario Autism Program, date night ideas. Guys, I could go on. There's literally 72, and all of those have a list of things within them. And so if I tried to keep that all in my brain, it would literally explode. I can't do that. And yet, all of these things are things that I really want to remember. They're not tasks. They're not things I need to do. They're things I need to remember. Okay. I also like to note down as things come into my brain throughout the day, maybe like a running list of like a brain dump list throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, what I do with that list or that note is I go through and I assign like, does it belong in the calendar? Does it belong on the task list? Should it stay on my notes list? Um, you can put things in one area throughout the day and then deal with them at the end of the day. That is totally fine too. As long as you're not trying to remember everything. Another really handy trick that I use sometimes is if I'm on my phone and I need to remember to come back to something, I'll do the like screenshot, where you just like click on both sides. It takes like a picture of whatever's on your screen. And then at the end of the day, I go through my picture galleries, see like what did I take screenshots of? It's like if I'm going through my website and I notice a spelling error, like screenshot it. Doesn't need to be dealt with right then, but it will need to go on my task list, right? So if you don't have your task list handy all the time, try that or start with a note. So it's sort of like these three different layers and three different levels. And a note doesn't need to be on your phone. You can bring a notebook around with you, a journal. You can use post-it notes, whatever works for you. The idea is that the useful information, the things you don't want to forget, get written down somewhere safely so you don't have to remember it. We're using an external support. Okay, so now I will give you the one question the one question that you're going to ask yourself when a new thought pops into your head, when something comes up in your life, right? The question is this: where does this belong? Calendar, task list, notes? Identify which of those three homes the thought, the thing that you do belongs in, and you're done. Identifying it as they come in is the best, not the best, is perhaps the quickest way to get into this. As I said, you could throw everything on a notes list and identify it all at once at the end of the day. But asking, where does this belong? Calendar, task list, or notes? Getting in the habit of that is going to help you manage the mental load so that you're not constantly running with this like high level of anxiety or even a low grade overwhelm because you're managing all the thoughts and you're not sure where everything should go, but you're worried you're going to miss something, drop the ball, etc. Okay? When your brain can stop acting like this filing cabinet, it becomes available for things like creativity and fun and intuition, right? The number of times that I've gone out on a walk with nothing on my mind and then received all of these cool ideas and downloads and like I'll bust out three reels in a row on a walk because the ideas came to me because I had taken all of the other things and put them in their place. So there's space in your head. It's the same thing that happens when you're in the shower and all these ideas come in, where you're like laying down to bed to go to sleep and all of the ideas come in, right? You have created space in your brain. And so now all of these um, more flowy, more creative, more feminine, more intuitive things are able to come in. That's where we use our brain, right? For creativity, for joy, for noticing things, for intuition. And so I just want to leave you with this idea of the three different places things can live. I want you to try it. I want you to create a note in your phone or in a notebook. I want you to have a task list. I want you to choose a calendar and stick with it. Put the appointments in there. Even if it's a digital calendar, that's totally fine. I got no problem with digital calendars. If you want to dive into this particular topic a little bit deeper, I wrote a Substack about it. It even goes deeper into this idea. If you're curious about how like a digital calendar can work with a physical calendar, there's a Substack about that. Substack is honestly the place to go where I'm putting more of the depth of the ideas. Of course, this podcast will always be free and a resource for you. Go back and listen to some episodes you may have missed before. There's some gold in here. If you need more personalized support, though, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I hear you and I want to try it and I'm not really sure where to start, that's where we work together. We either do a tune up or we do weekly check ins. Whatever feels better for you. My goal is never to have a long-term commitment. Like I'm one of those casual daters, you know? Not really, but like in this regard. I'm not going to ask you to sign a 3 or 6 month or a year-long contract to work with me because you don't need that for this problem, right? Some people it does take a little bit longer than others, but my goal is always to start by giving you tools that are going to suit you in this season right now, send you on your way. Yeah, we have a little check-in follow-up like, do you need more tools? How did it go? Whatever, after a couple weeks of trying it. But then you're in it and you're going and you're trying these things and you're figuring it out until your season changes, until something significant in your life shifts and your tools aren't working anymore and you need new ones. And then we reassess and we go back and we say, okay, what's your reality now? What's changed? Here are some new tools that are going to help you in this season. That's how I like to work. And it does. It works. It works really well. And so if you could use a little extra support and sort of hand holding and guidance on this, accountability can be a big thing that helps people push past that, like past the willpower block, you know? Anyways, I'm here if any of that speaks to you. Summertime obviously is a little bit more limited in terms of my availability, but reach out because I am here to help. I would love for you to get your time management under control and feel a little bit more confident with how you go about managing all of the things in your head. Calendar, task list, notes. That is it for today, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, if you like this type of content, let me know. Send me a note, do the rating review, subscribe thing, all the places. Share it with someone else who might find this really helpful. And just pop in, say hello. I'm on Instagram. It's my most active place. Energy and Hours is the name of everything. Until next week, keep on growing. like a mother.